Hi everyone and welcome to Southside Dodge Rebels this week from the home of the 2012 Scotties Tournament of Hearts, the NMAX Centrium. Another busy and exciting episode as we recap the 4-game road trip through BC, which featured a number of firsts for this Red Deer Rebels hockey club. Now let's kick things off by going back to last Wednesday night as your Red Deer Rebels visited the Prince George Cougars. Cougars draw first blood on an early first period power play when Spencer Osicek finds the rebound off Jesse Forsberg's shot and slides it past Devin Dubik from a sharp angle, 1-0 PG. Rebels respond later in the opening frame. Nice one-handed pass by Mark McKenzie over to Cormier, who puts a sweet move on Cougars goalie Drew Owsley for his 9th of the year, 1-1 through 20. McKenzie comes close to giving the Rebels the lead early in the second period, but Owsley sprawls to shut the door with the pad save. It remains tied. To the third period, still even at 1 when Richard Blidstrand leads the rush, then finds a wide-open Cody Carlson. He fires home his 8th of the year past Dubik, 2-1 Prince George. Troy Burke later seals the deal with an empty netter. Cougars win 3-1. The Rebels played a solid road game and likely deserved a better fate, but Drew Owsley was the difference, making 38 saves. So a tough loss in Prince George, to be sure. 2 nights later, the Rebels look to get back on track as they paid a visit to the high-flying Kamloops Blazers. It's the Rebels who come out blazing as they look to open the scoring. Mark McCoy with the backhand. He is stopped by Cole Shovel-Dave. Miette tries for the rebound, but is also stopped. 4-on-3 power play for the Blazers. They win the face-off in the Rebels zone. Some nice puck work leads to Tim Bozon left all alone in front. He has no trouble putting his 28th of the year past Boulton Pouliot, 1-0 Kamloops. Rebels respond 3 minutes later. Kevin Pocek, called up from Midget AAA in Winnipeg, notches his first ever Western Hockey League goal. Turner Elson with the puck, a slick dangle to split the defense, but is foiled by a fantastic save by Shovel-Dave. Big moment here as high-flying Brendan Ranford comes in all alone on a breakaway, but Boulton Pouliot gets the pad down to keep this one tied. The first period ends 1-1. On to the second period. Matthew Dumba starts the play from the half wall over to Petrovic, who fires and is stopped by Shovel-Dave. John Person can't put home the rebound. Brandon Herod gets a glorious chance to give Kamloops the lead. Pouliot makes the save, but no one knows where the rebound is. Thankfully for the Rebels, it's cleared out of harm's way. Red Deer takes a 2-1 lead when Charles Inglis works the circle and feeds Petrovic for the one-timer, but Kamloops replies while on a power play of their own. Herod corrals the dump in and leaves it for Ranford, who is allowed to walk right in and score on Pouliot for his 33rd of the year. This one was all tied at 2 heading into the third period. Just one goal scored in the third period, and it was scored by Charles Inglis. He comes in, winds, and fires home his 17th. 3-2 Rebels, the goal coming with 2:23 left in the third period. It was then up to Boulton Pouliot to shut the door, and he came up absolutely huge, making perhaps the save of his life on this one. What a way for the young netminder to earn his first ever WHL victory. Rebels win 3-2.
Boulton, hasn't played a lot, and he's been kind of hot and cold. I thought he came in there and really stepped up and played a big game for us. And it was in his head there a little bit about not winning a hockey game. And I think to step in the way he did, play the way he did, and get his first win under his belt, I think is going to be real big for him. So hopefully he can continue to play that way.
A pair of firsts in this game for the Rebels. Pocek with his first ever goal. Pouliot with his first ever win. Rebels beat the Blazers for the 3rd time this season. The Rebels continued their 3 games and 3 nights weekend on Saturday by visiting the Kelowna Rockets. Rebels get a great chance to score first as Turner Elson busts in and fires on net, but Adam Brown flashes leather to keep it scoreless. Kelowna with a spectacular scoring chance as Brett Bulmer breaks in alone, but Devin Dubik squeezes down for the save. Rockets come even closer to scoring with their next try as Dubik gets a piece of the point shot. It squeaks past him but goes off the goalpost. This one remains scoreless. The Rebels do strike first just past the 7-minute mark as Devin Fafford's point shot finds the back of the net. It's his first ever Western Hockey League goal. The 17-year-old defenseman makes it 1-0. They take a 2-0 lead 10 minutes later. Corey Miette spins and fires but hits the iron. The rebound makes its way over to Matthew Dumba. He sets up Petrovic for his 10th of the season. Rebels take their 2-goal lead into the second period. A neutral zone turnover by the Rebels leads to another breakaway for Bulmer. Cody Teal gets back to make the play, but chops Bulmer down as he goes in for the shot. That results in a penalty shot. Bulmer would swing out wide right before coming in and blasting a wrister wide of the net. Rebels hold on to their 2-goal lead. The Rockets do finally get on the board nearly 13 minutes into the second period as Bulmer takes the nifty little pass from Zach Franco and gets it by Dubik. 2-1 Rebels through 40. A lucky break for the Rockets helps them pull even early in the third. Damon Severson's point shot goes off a Rebels defender, off the post, off Dubik, and into the net. Severson will definitely take that one for his 6th of the year. Brett Bulmer was a man possessed in this game, and he gives the Rockets their first lead. He cashes in on the rebound from a point shot by Miles Bell for his 2nd of the game and 24th of the season. 2 goals in a minute and 11 seconds make it 3-2 Rockets, and it would stay that way until the final minute of the period. Turner Elson wins the faceoff. Back to Dumba. A quick give and go of Petrovic before Dumba blasts home his 17th of the season. All 3 goals in regulation coming from Rebels defensemen in this game. This one, with just 33 seconds left, sends it to overtime. Overtime would solve nothing, so it was off to the shootout, a rather eventful shootout at that. Matt Dumba tries the backhand deke with his attempt, but is foiled by Brown. Zach Franco looks to score on Dubik, but he is denied. Then it's John Person's turn for the Rebels. He goes with his favorite backhand deke move, but once again, Brown shuts the door. Shane McColgan gets his turn. Watch this as he dangles the puck in his feet, goes past Dubik, then stops and draws it back around to tap home the goal. A tough one for the Rebels to give up, but Kelowna takes the shootout lead. But that lead would be short-lived as Charles Inglis comes down and freezes Brown with the pump fake before snapping it past the Rockets goaltender. 1-1 in the shootout. The goaltenders took over after that, pushing this to a 7th round. That's when Damon Severson would score the game winner on a pretty deep move. No chance there for Dubik. Brown would then shut the door on Turner Elson. Kelowna pulls out the victory 4-3 on home ice. An outstanding effort by both goaltenders in this one. 2-point nights for star defensemen Petrovic and Dumba. Coming up after the break, highlights from Sunday night's game in Vancouver, and we go behind the scenes with both Cam Moon and Charles Inglis. Southside Dodge Rebels This Week is presented by Southside Dodge Chrysler Jeep in Red Deer, Alberta. Welcome back to the show. 4 games this past week for the Red Deer Rebels, including their 3rd in 3 nights. On Sunday, they paid a visit to the always challenging Vancouver Giants. Don't blink now or you'll miss Charles Inglis giving the Rebels a 1-0 lead just 18 seconds into the game. For Charles, that's his 18th of the season. Giants tie it up late in the second period. A sea of bodies in the Rebel zone. No one can find the puck until Ryan Kaiser does for Vancouver. He blows it past a screen to Devin Dubik for his 4th of the year, making it 1-1. Less than 2 minutes remaining in the period when Tyson Ness unleashes the wrister for his 15th of the year and a 2-1 Rebels lead through 40 minutes. They nearly make it 3-1 when Ness's shot is stopped and Inglis is robbed on the rebound by a sprawled out Adam Morrison. Rebels do put this one away in the dying seconds as Inglis wins the draw. John Person sets up Turner Elson for the empty net goal. 3-1 is your final score as the Rebels go 2-1-1 on their BC road trip.
Oh, I'm really proud of the guys, the way we played, not just tonight, but the whole trip. I thought we really battled hard. Disappointing loss in Prince George, but, felt we could have had 2 points there. We capitalized on some opportunities, and, we coming home with 5, but could have had 8 points, and, it's a tough building to play in. I thought the guys really dug in their 4th game in 5 nights. We got a real good effort throughout the lineup. We were able to roll 3.5 lines. We were short a guy and then lost Corey Mayette halfway through the game, but we were able to roll everybody. Everybody played, and everybody did a real good job. So all in all, a gutsy team effort and a big 2 points for us.
Rebels get 1 goal in each period and an outstanding 29-save performance from Devin Dubik. Now, despite a fairly solid road trip, the Rebels lose ground in their chase for the 8th and final playoff spot in the East, now sitting 7 points back of Brandon and 8 points behind Regina. John Person has fallen below his point-per-game average, but still leads the Rebels with 50 points. Charles Inglis continues to make his impact. He has 21 points in 23 games with the Rebels. A few days off for the Rebels before they head east for their 4-game Saskatchewan road trip. That starts Friday night in Prince Albert and continues Saturday in Saskatoon versus the Blades. As always, you can catch every Rebels radio broadcast on 106.7 The Drive. There are only a handful of names that are synonymous with Red Deer Rebels hockey, namely Brent Sutter and Jesse Wallen. The third name on that list, broadcaster Cam Moon. He's been the voice of the Rebels on the radio for over 14 years, and we go behind the scenes to learn a little bit more about the man they call Mooner.
Coming in is Dumba. Dumba couldn't get a pass through. He gets it. He scores! Matt Dumba! He wins this thing in overtime! During my 20-year-old season, I had to figure out what I wanted to do as a job and what I wanted to do moving forward, going to school. And I really liked the radio aspect of the Western Hockey League, and calling games for a team to me seemed like one of the best things I could do. So I took the education money and went to NAIT in Edmonton and took the radio and television arts program. So that was the first step, and then there's a few more steps to be had before you get here. And I called games in the BC Junior League for 3 years in Nanaimo before coming here. But yeah, there was a few things that had to be done, but that was the first step. On the left side to Lepon. Right towards the net, but it goes off a stick and wide. Needham back to the point. Penalty is over. That came out, and that'll be offside as Mashmeyer. I get into it. I really get invested into the game. I want them to win. I'm disappointed if they don't, but I try to call it fair. And if the other team plays well, I like to acknowledge that so that their efforts are recognized. Because sometimes you just run up against a real tough opposition and you can play a good game and still lose. But during the game, especially at playoff time, and you just get right into it, and you're living and dying the whole thing, no different than the fans in the stands. You're just telling the people that can't be there what's happening. The view from the press box is outstanding. I prefer to be up high to watch the game. Of course, it looks a lot easier up here than it does on the ice, of course. But it's a great view at the NMAX Centrium, one of the best in the league. It does come out. Poufall with the puck at center ice. Gives it to Hamilton as pocket picked by Needham. You got to be on the puck all the time because you are on radio. Everybody needs to know where the puck is. You also have to tell the score quite often. You never know when people are tuning in or tuning out. So those things have to be top of mind all the time. Doing play-by-play on TV, you got to back off a bit. People can see it, so you don't have to talk all the time. But on radio, and especially on the road when doing the games by myself, it's constant, and you really do have to stay on the puck. Snapshot saved by Bartolzak. The rebound to Petrovic. He'll get it out to Cowan. Maybe have a 2-on-1 with Ness. Herbis is following up. Cowan down the right wing shoots, and the save made by Lanigan on a hard shot by Cowan. I love telling the story of that evening's game. To me, that is precisely what I wanted to do as a job, and I've been fortunate enough to have been able to have done it here for quite a while.
Now we go from one guy who has no troubles around microphones to another guy. He made headlines when he came to the Rebels from Prince George on December 29th. Here's a player profile with Charles Inglis.
My name is Charles Inglis. I am from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, and this is my first year with the Rebels.
Now to Inglis into the Vancouver end, scores! Charles Inglis!
Growing up playing hockey was a great experience for me. I was one of those kids that was always on the outdoor rink, and I was a rink rat, just kind of like I am now. Always at the rink every day, before school, after school, lunchtime, no matter when I could, I was always at the rink. Something that the average Joe wouldn't know about me that my teammates would be that I love to dance. If you put on something that's got a fast beat to it, I'll figure out something to dance to. I like to think I do have the best moves on the team, yes. I'll take that title.
I come down the left side, shoots it, scores! Charles Inglis!
The thing I love about hockey would have to be scoring goals. It's that feeling when you score a goal it's like nothing else. You can't describe it. You can't explain it. Your adrenaline's going. You're so happy. You're putting your team on the board. And then you get to sell it, you get to, all your emotions come out all in one big, in about 5 to 10 seconds, all your emotions come out. So it's a very exciting time. That's my favorite part about hockey.
We'll see even more of Charles on next week's show as we sent him with a camcorder on that BC road trip. No doubt he'll have plenty of gold for next week's episode. In the meantime, thanks for joining us this week. Follow us, as always, on Twitter, on Facebook, and at rebelsthisweek.com. We'll see you next time.